Alright, we've been talking about all kinds of stuff here today. 12 Days of Christmas, wool anoraks and other stuff, old Boy Scout books, so on. Now we're going to talk about stuff that's in the sky, right? Incidentally, I picked these up for Christmas. So these are Christmas presents, right? So I picked these up to check them out because the old stuff is really where it's at when it comes to the Boy Scouts. This one is from '67, the field book. Okay, this one's from 1944 for the Patrol Leader's Handbook. So I get this stuff basically to preserve the knowledge that's out there. You know, a lot of people just throw this old stuff away. Well, the old stuff is where the good information is. This is the wisdom here, right? So get those and teach your kids. If you don't have, if you don't have a curriculum, make one. No problem, no biggie. Got it right there. So I went downstairs, got myself a Christmas goodie. These Russell Stover marshmallow chocolate treats. You generally get 2 or 3 of these for myself for Christmas. And yeah, they go good with coffee. So let's talk about the what's going on in the sky. So the Lord said that in the end of days we would have all these different situations going on, all these different things. We would see stuff in the skies. We would see stuff with the stars going on. All that stuff has happened and is happening now. And we've kind of talked about the drones here past few videos, hey, just go ahead and, take one down. We'll find out whose it is right away. Well, I've seen a little bit more and I've thought about it a bit, and I'm thinking that these drones are our own military's drones, okay? Which, I'm not talking about your standard military stuff here. I'm talking about classified stuff. So I think the quote-unquote drones themselves are probably ours. And the reason why I say that, it's a possibility. It could be that they are not ours. But there have been some observations by people that have seen the drones actually observing these other things that look like plasma orbs in the sky. But the thing is that people have videotaped these plasma looking orbs in the sky, and they have talked to them on camera, and the orbs respond. So this shows intelligence, right? And then the U.S. Congress, I guess, I don't remember who it was. They had a secret meeting. I mean, why do they have secret meetings? They say, oh, there's nothing to worry about with blah, 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 and then they turn around and they have a secret meeting. That should not be allowed. We are supposed to have transparency in the U.S. government. Everything, we the people are in charge, and they report to us. So they need to come out with the information, or else we need to fire all of them and start over. Okay? Let's not, are we going to go back to the Second American Revolution again? Did we not make our point with the selection here recently? That we did not want communism. We did not want, any kind of dictatorship in the government. We need to emphasize to them that we are in charge, and that they're reporting to us, and they need to come clean on stuff, or else there's going to be consequences. There has to be consequences, because if you raise children without consequences, you have unruly children. Okay, spare the rod and spoil the child, right? You remember that from the Bible? Yeah. It means give your kid a spanking when the kid needs it. You know, discipline the kid. You know, correct when necessary. Spanking a kid isn't a beating. It's a difference. Okay? I had a few spankings when I grew up, and I'm a responsible adult. Anyway, and I don't hold anything against my parents, you know, because you know what, I was being a little knucklehead, and I needed to be corrected, and I was. You know, it's just the way things work. I don't have a lot of teeth anymore. It's not because of cavities, because I lost a few doing stuff in my past. Got knocked out and things like that. Anyway. So right now, we can only theorize whose drones they are and what they're doing. They may not even be ours. They may not. But I'll tell you, I'm going to revert back to a couple years ago. I was on this channel. I don't even know if I still have this. Sometimes I take videos down because I don't want everything to get all cluttered up, you know. I start getting 300-400 videos up. I don't have time to organize them. Sometimes I just take videos down. Lately, I've been deleting videos after I put them up because my computer's old. I don't have room. That sort of stuff. But I had some videos I did a couple years ago. I kept seeing UFOs over my house. Sometimes I would see 3 of them in a row. It's like they're all hanging out together. Stuff like that. I have a trained eye. Not like I'm just your average person who has no training about you know, what I'm looking at. Okay? I even thought about going out and buying an expensive telescope, you know, to affix my phone here to like get some really close-up shots, you know. But generally what happens is that those shots become blurry. My personal feeling about blurry photos of quote-unquote UFOs is that it's because they get distorted because there's an energy field around them. Okay? But I was seeing all kinds of aerial phenomenon about 2 or 3 years ago around my house, and then it quit. It went on for weeks. And I saw different aerial craft. And in the next town down, I remember talking about this on a video. I was sitting still in my vehicle, and a lot of times when I'm sitting still, there's a lot of traffic. I know it's going to be a bit before I could pull out into the lane. I'll just have a look around, see what's going on, and I do look up in the sky, and I saw this craft. It had no sound. It had no visible means of propulsion. It had no chopper blades. Woo! It was not a whirlybird, right? It wasn't a chopper. It had no wings. It had what looked like pods or something connected by conduit. right? That's what it looked like. And then it had the lighting on it. Had several different lights. One or two of them were flashing. And now that I'm watching this stuff that's on that everybody else is seeing, I'm thinking that this is probably one of those, because it looked just almost the same as what people are seeing now. But the difference between my situation and the situation we're seeing right now is that this was in daylight, broad daylight. Well, it wasn't broad daylight. It was afternoon. I'd say it was about 4 in the afternoon. Okay, 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So it wasn't bright daylight. But this thing was white. All of the conduits between the different pods on it were white. And the majority of it was white. Had no sound. I got out of the vehicle. I put it in park. I got out of the vehicle. I left the vehicle on. I got out and I was looking at it. And it came over me. It came over me like it was looking at me. It acted like it had. Perception, right? Like it could perceive that I was looking at it. And it came over the vehicle. Nothing happened to the vehicle. It was fine. And I was looking at it for a second, and then it kind of like moved off back towards my town. Since I was going to go in that way anyway, I got back in the vehicle. And I thought, I'm going to chase this thing and I'm going to get a photo of it. You know, the thing is that when something like this happens, you're not thinking of getting a photo. You're not thinking of grabbing the phone and getting a photo. You're just amazed at what you're looking at, because this thing's hanging around like a marionette up in the sky. There's nothing holding it up. There isn't any lift being generated by propellers or anything, right? It's just there. And it, like, you know, it did a couple of maneuvers, and then it, you know, it started going off in that direction towards the town. And it wasn't going real fast. It just kind of cruised off. And then I think that that it perceived me following, because I was definitely going to follow it then. I got in the vehicle and, you know, and I took off. And I kept going. Next thing you know, I was doing 60, 70 miles an hour. And then it just left me. And then I thought, oh, I'll come back to the speed limit, because I was speeding. So what, right? Sometimes we speed. But there wasn't anybody around. Anyway, I got up to that next town. I started looking around. And I caught up to it. It was up in the sky, but it was higher, and it was, you know, and then it took off. It was like it figured out saw it again, and I was looking at it, and I was going to pull into this one place and get the camera going and take a picture, and then it just went off in a direction that I couldn't follow, because there was no road going where it was going. Okay, so it just took off and left me. Then I never saw it again. I went back the next day. Around the same time period, hoping it would come back, but it never came back. I did that for 2-3 days. Spent the money in gasoline to just try to see it again. Try to capture it on camera. But it didn't happen. But now I'm seeing some of these a little bit closer images of these quote-unquote drones. And I'm thinking it's the same thing, but it was white. But it's not the drones that I'm thinking that... you know, my concern is how the government is reacting and not telling the people anything. We need to stop that now. We need to make real demands and have consequences if they don't meet our demands. And then the orb situation is really reminding me of Ezekiel in the Bible. See you later.